We are officially live yet again here on YouTube. Took the weekend off. It was officially my last shifts doing sports commentary for this season as we head into the summer. I'm going to be heading off. Of course, I'm in Canada, so I'm going to be heading off to Alberta from Ontario as, summer sports commentary will be coming up soon. Baseball, of course. I mean, it's summer. What else would I be doing? As we're going to get into what the stream's title suggests, what if every NFC team had a time machine? But just before we do that, we'll do some personal updates. So yeah, this past weekend with the University of Waterloo, I had just finished up some of my last shifts there on Wednesday and Saturday. And so yeah, incredibly tiring, but incredibly rewarding. But now we're here ready to go for the video that I've been looking forward to for quite a bit. Might have been procrastinating it, but we won't mention that. So here we are, just getting ready to go here as we're just getting everything set up. We look to be good. We look to be ready. So everyone, hello, welcome to the CollingsThodeNetwork as we're just finishing up every last thing here. All right, there we go. Did it. We're set up. The stream is ready. I am ready. I'm excited. So, here we go. I want to be a little brighter. That's the only issue I'm finding. Not that bright. All right, this will do, I guess. There we go. Perfect. Hello, everyone watching. I'm so excited to go as this is Curtis from the CollingsThodeNetwork, and what if every NFC team had a time machine? This would be if they're going back to the start of the season, kind of the off season, or maybe changing one play. So jumping right into it, our first team of the video is going to be... All right, we're restarting that. There we go. Why did that glitch? That's so frustrating. Anyways, forget that. Men in Black mind wipe here as... Anyways, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much for being part of the video. This should be an extremely fun time because today on the CollingsThodeNetwork, figuring everything out. So, welcome to the behind the scenes of being a YouTuber. So, hello, this is Curtis from the CollingsThodeNetwork, and today is what if every NFC team had a time machine. I'm going back to either the start of the season, the off season, maybe if it's one play during the season, but officially jumping into it, starting off with the Chicago Bears. Now, Bears fans probably have a couple things knowing that this season was one of opportunity, and I think the biggest thing, and I asked Nolan of the CollingsThodeNetwork, and he said, ride the hot hand and Caleb Williams, of course, and go for two at the end of the game, as they would end up being forced to go to OT, and they couldn't win in OT, and hey, you either lose in the end of regulation, going for two, being known as the aggressive team, or you lose in overtime, being known as the team that, well, you forced overtime. Good for you. So that's for the Chicago Bears. I would probably just go for two and see what happens. Caleb Williams obviously had the hot hand. I think he could have done something magical. As our next team that we're talking about here, the Detroit Lions. As this is going to be one that if you watch the AFC team, you would know this one. And if you've watched Captain America, you would know this. Invest in Super Soldier Serum, as this was one of the more injured teams this season, and it screwed them. I mean, going what, 8-6, 9-6? Is that it? No, it was either 9-8 or it was just not good. It wasn't good enough to make the playoffs. I think 9-8 officially. So not good enough from the Lions. And of course, if you disagree with anything that I say here, leave it in the chat, leave it in the comments, as I would love to argue. So, I mean, the Lions, there's not much else for me to really say other than just invest in needles, in drugs that you can insert in your players to make them never get injured, because I love this roster. I like the coaching staff. Of course, the offensive and defensive coaching hires maybe could have been better. Maybe that's something you point to, but really I think if this team could do it over again, they would just invest in health, basically, as much as they can. I like to just say super soldier serum because, that's how Captain America got all strong. As our next team of the video is going to be the Green Bay Packers. And again, we're talking about health, as you do anything in your power to keep Micah Parsons healthy. We realized how important this guy was for this team immediately as he went down, as I'm not sure they won a game after the Micah Parsons injury this season. That's how bad it was. So you do anything in your power to keep this guy healthy, whether it's you bench him till the playoffs start after you win those 9 games, whether it's investing in super soldier serum like Detroit. I don't care what it is. You do anything to have this guy be healthy, as this is a team here where I don't think health would have done anything for them, the Minnesota Vikings. As my one note, and if anyone who knows me knows I'm about to say this, don't waste time on J.J. McCarthy. What a stupid thing for this franchise to be wasting time on. I don't care if he becomes a mid-quarterback, because that's at best what he's going to be. But more likely than not, he's going to be a nothing quarterback, and that's even worse. You are committing to a nothing quarterback, and you did all of last season. The Minnesota Vikings won 9 games with J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz, and Max Brossman as their starting quarterbacks. If they just didn't waste time, got a real quarterback, who knows what this season could have looked like for him. As next up is the Dallas Cowboys, and yeah, there's a lot you could say about the Dallas Cowboys. As we see, just side note about the Minnesota Vikings, Dave Collings in the chat saying, don't draft a U of M cheating quarterback, as, hey, who could have seen that coming? As, of course, if you want to be part of the live chat experience, subscribe to the CollingsThodeNetwork and hit that bell icon, as you will see every single time I go live. As back to the matter at hand, the Dallas Cowboys get an entirely new defense, just in general. I don't know if there's even one guy you should keep. It was that bad. I think they lost most of their games this year purely because they just couldn't stay in games. So, yeah, Dallas, just go out there, get you a whole new defense. Trade everyone you have. Trade any picks, whatever it is. You wait. I mean, great move picking up, what is it, Quincy Williams? One of the two. Great move. Just not enough. Not enough at all, as we have the New York Giants, or the Giants, as I wanted to say for some reason, and the story of this team is more or less the story of Detroit, and it's just avoid injuries. Get lucky, basically, with this injury luck. This team, Cam Scatterbo going down, Jackson Dart missing so much time, and then Russell Wilson being bad. That's not an injury. That's just a fact of the matter. Russell Wilson, not a good quarterback. Shout out to the rumors that the Chiefs might be signing him to bring him in. Don't think that's going to work out very well for him, but I now want to watch it happen. So, for the Giants, one thing is, yes, avoid injuries, invest in super soldier serum, whatever it takes. The other thing, don't waste time on Russell Wilson. Why did we ever waste time on that? Play Jameis Winston to start the year. If you're not confident in Jackson Dart, let Jameis Winston be your guy. It was a waste of time, and it added a bunch of unnecessary drama that as soon as it was just Dart and Winston, the team chemistry went up like 8 billion. And hey, maybe that's a Jameis Winston thing. Maybe this is a late career Russell Westbrook, Russ thing, Russell Wilson thing. I don't know. So we see again Dave in the chat saying no thanks to Russell for the Chiefs, and no surprises there. The Philadelphia Eagles, the second last team in the NFC East that we're going to talk about, and this is one that's going to hit close to home for my brother, a Saints fan, and he'll probably agree. And my point is, you keep Kellen Moore at all costs. Apparently, that guy was a lot more important to that team's offensive success than we ever gave him credit for. As, Kellen Moore was holding this thing together. It was just about as bad as it could be for a team that has legitimately talented players. It has to be coaching. Either that or it's team chemistry, and you ship A.J. Brown out in the offseason when he is at maximum value, but that's after a Super Bowl. It's hard it's hard to justify a decision like that. As jumping back over to the chat, Russ would be the best QB in that room. I have to mean you assume the Kansas City Chiefs for this upcoming season, which, yeah, he would, but you're either going to lose games with your third stringer or you're going to lose games with Russ. It's up to you what poison you want to take as we, again, no thanks to Russell. And then and then more fun in the chat here as moving on to our official last team of the NFC East, and that's going to be the Washington Commanders. And it's really one simple note, and it's all about decision making for this team. Don't be the oldest team in the league. Maybe you won't fall apart at the seams if you have a little bit more youth. As we saw this team with Austin Eckler, old as dirt, and unfortunately got injured. Bobby Wagner, old as dirt. Deebo Samuel, old as dirt. I mean, and then the O-line. I mean, they traded for Laramie Tunsil, who did not have a good season with the Texans. Not sure what they were thinking with that one, but they needed something, I guess, but it somehow got way worse. Just decision-making for this team. Very similar to the Cowboys. Don't choose to be so old. Why did they elect to be the oldest team in the league after being led by a young stud quarterback? I don't get it. It's decision-making, and I feel like it could have been fixed very early. Moving on to the NFC South. Speaking of decision-making, yeah, Falcons. Could you not trade your first-round pick this season to the Rams, please, in a redo? That wasn't helpful. That's not going to make the NFC any easier for any of us other teams that might have to face them, like in the playoffs, like we did this year. I mean, you just made the Rams better to draft two defensive guys, and horribly, unfortunately, one of them might not even be on your team for very much longer. And I refuse to joke about that. It is just a horrible fact of the matter is that they just got super unlucky with a player that decided to go be an idiot. So Falcons, if you had a time machine, yeah, make some better choices at the draft. Don't trade for that second pick. And I guess if you want to fix something during the season, hey, it's the Falcons. I'm wearing my Panthers gear. I'm gonna rag on them for fun. This is the best for me. As this is one I'll make a joke about. Don't lose to the Jets. What are you guys doing? You would have won the division, but you were one of the 3 teams that lost to the Jets. What are you guys doing? I mean, come on. No one loses to the Jets. No one. Just you guys, the Bengals, and one other team that fired their coach. It's ridiculous to me that you guys lost to the Jets. That's so funny. Wouldn't be my franchise. It wouldn't be the Carolina Panthers, who, yeah, made the playoffs after a very long time, was first in the NFC South, but still could have done a lot to improve on this season. Lots of things happen in the middle of the season, not riding the hot hand of Rico Dowdle. I could probably nitpick a play or two from literally every single loss we had that could have went our way. But I'm going to make it more of an off-season acquisition type. I think one of the most game-changing pieces to not happen, to not sign to this team, was Milton Williams getting outbid by the Patriots and officially going to the Super Bowl runner-up. So, yeah, Milton Williams, basically, my only note is just outbid the Patriots. Do anything you can. Add $5 extra million. I don't care. We had about $9 million in cap space most of the year. We were not bad in cap. Just do anything. Anything to bring this guy in instead of the darn Patriots. And so we don't have to have Roseboom and Trevor Wall starting. And then we see Dave Collings in the chat there. Don't lose twice to the Saints. How did we do that? Why did we do that? And how did we do that? And yeah, no, that's just as good. It's just as bad. I'll be real. It's just as bad as the Falcons losing to the Jets once. The Panthers losing to the Saints twice. Equal playing field. I completely agreed. That is one of the most ridiculous things to come out of this season for any team. We lost to the New Orleans Saints 2 times. We really lost to this team 2 times, guys. The New Orleans Saints, who, again, could have done a lot better with a time machine as well. But I'm going to keep it simple for them and start Shuck day 1. Don't waste time on Rattler. They won games with Shuck. Like, worryingly so sometimes for the Saints team. I really don't see why they wouldn't have just ran with him day 1. As Shuck really was just the best quarterback in that room. He's 26 years old, so they're not protecting the youth here. He should have been starting day one. I think having Rattler in, Rattler, to his credit, was mighty fine this year. Wasn't bad, wasn't good, but wasn't bad. He'll be a backup forever, I think. Maybe. I think he might be out of the league sooner than later. I know other people are a lot more optimistic about Rattler than I am, as Nolan Thode in the chat saying missing NFC South football right now, as it does have a special breed to it, as these dog fights that we saw between the Saints and the Panthers, and then this final team that, again, talk about some fights to the death, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with the Panthers and Tampa Bay having some of the most exciting games this season. And Tampa Bay and Seattle early on in the year had, I still think, is probably the game of the season. What could they have done differently? Well, plenty. The first thing, though, and I guess the main thing, would be don't get screwed by injuries. Invest in that same super soldier serum that every other team, I feel like, in the NFC is, because they had injuries all season. Baker Mayfield was playing through something in his shoulder. Tez Johnson missed time. Jalen McMillan missed time. You had Mike Evans break his collarbone. I think Chris Godwin missed the start of the year. Bucky Irving was hurt for a bit. And then I won't even get into the defense. This was a team that absolutely got screwed by injuries. I don't envy them in the slightest. If they could have a redo, if they could have a time machine, they'd invest in team facilities. They would invest in absolute dominant super soldier serum. Because really, at the end of the day, I think this season was the Buccaneers to take if it wasn't for those just horribly debilitating injuries that didn't really knock any players out. And so they felt like they had the need to play through it. Yeah, and now we're going to move on to the NFC West, where we got a funny one to start with, at least. Shout out to my cousin Evan, his Arizona Cardinals. They were bad. This is not a good year. Yet again, another team, injuries not kind to them. They ended up benching Kyler Murray for Jacoby Brissett at some point there. I think it wasn't even an injury-related thing. Jacoby Brissett ended up playing better than Kyler Murray, which is a little worrisome. But my biggest thing, don't waste time on Gannon. That was such a stupid coaching hire. And the fact that you let him rock as long as you did, yeah, that is incompetence at a team management level, that you let that coach, we call him Murr from Impractical Jokers, stick around. It really felt like a punishment. Hey, Murr, go try to save the Cardinals. Hey, Murr, in your next line in your coaching, ask your NFL players if they rode the bus to practice. The entire time this seemed like an Impractical Joker's punishment, having this guy be their coach. So yeah, don't waste time. Do not waste time on Gannon. As we are down to some of our final teams here, the LA Rams, and this is one where we kind of have to get a little creative, as this was a team that I feel like other than a little bit of a cold stretch down at the end of the season there, a lot of things went the Rams' way. Stafford was fantastic. I got to give him respect for that. And the only thing would just be use the future knowledge that you have from this time machine to score while down 31-27 to Seattle. They really did come down to about one play, two plays maybe at the end of the game against Seattle, that if they went the Rams' way, we could be looking at a completely different Super Bowl winner right now. And then we're seeing a question here in the chat. This is Nolan asking, is Kyler gone from the Cardinals? And I say absolutely. I think 100% Kyler Murray and his time in Arizona, over. I really do think it's over. So we see in the chat here, though, Dave Collings saying, I think he gets one more year. Draft and free agency for QBs is weak, and you're absolutely not wrong about that, with Dante Moore and Trinidad Chambliss both opting out of the draft in weird ways. Never seen so many people not want to live up to their dreams. But yeah, it's like, Ty Simpson isn't going to be the savior of the Cardinals, but there's a question for why don't the Cardinals just roll in the next year with Jacoby Brissett again, have a mid quarterback that's not on a big contract like Kyler's, and then figure it out next year when you know you're going to be bad, rather than this in between mid stage with Kyler Murray. So either way, those are my thoughts on it. And those were my thoughts on the Rams. Basically, just change a couple plays here and there, and we could be looking at completely different Super Bowl winners. As, again, this is going to sound like a bit of a broken record, a bit of deja vu, but the San Francisco 49ers and invest in Super Soldier Serum or just move the team. I don't know. The injuries that, again, this is the most injured team maybe of all time, it seems like. So everything I said for the Lions, everything I said for the Giants applies to these guys. If you want a non-injury thing that I think they truly could have done better, if they would have gone back in time, they would have traded Brandon Ayuk for literally anything, for a 7th-round pick at this point, because this guy is more trouble than it's worth. So, yeah, no. Get rid of Ayuk and invest in Super Soldier Serum because, yeah, it was bad. It was... it makes me laugh at how unfortunate a franchise can be. I pity the fool. I pity the fool. And then the last team of our video today. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you did, if you are still here, make sure you hit like. Tune into the next one as we have the Super Bowl winner, Seattle Seahawks. And really, at the end of the day, nothing. If they had a time machine, I think they'd just do it all over again. Feels nice when you're the Super Bowl winner. Maybe one day that'll be my Panthers. As that's going to do it for our What If Every NFC Team Had a Time Machine video. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into this one. And, well, until the next time, peace.